Good evening, everyone. I hope you are well. You know, since I started doing this, and I can't believe it's almost a year now. What am I saying? It's almost a year. I started doing this. Many of you who don't know, I started properly doing this in January, and I started properly talking about Megan. I think middle of January, late January, February. Guys, it's November, and I feel so lucky because I feel I started doing this content for Megan the right year that she started producing a lot of her own content. And guys, in the span of that time, we have seen her release her amazing TV show, which has gone on to be a massive success for a lifetime show, first time lifetime show. Yes, she has the brand, she's Megan, but it's proven to a lot of people and a lot of naysayers that her hype is real. She's gone on to have a very successful business. I think we've clocked two or three sellouts this year, just in the space of what 8 months. I don't think it's up to 8 months, maybe 7, 6 months, which is bloody impressive. And of course, we've seen her on red carpets. We've got her podcasts. We have had a fantastic year, and I can't wait for more to come. Like, as you know, we have the Christmas show coming. Now, some of the things that we used to speak about, and a lot of other content creators who are Megan fans used to say, myself included, is our biggest frustration was why didn't Meghan and Harry ever speak up for themselves? Why did they allow things to fester? And I will always criticize them for that. I really truly believe that if they had been a bit more, what's the word, in front of all this hate, maybe things might be different. Maybe this social media industry of haters would not have been successful. But then I always take a step back and think we could use the exact same argument for many other big celebrities out there. Every day on Twitter and sometimes on YouTube, you hear people accusing Rock Nation of every crime under the sun. You hear people accusing Rock Nation of, the only thing Rock Nation hasn't done in my mind, and it's only a matter of time before they get accused of that, is cloning a human being at this point. So, but then you also think about how do you, as a business, a brand, a celebrity, navigate continued harassment and bullying, whether or not you think they deserve it or not. Like, let me use this Blake Lively situation. I don't support Blake Lively. I think she's lying. I think she's exaggerating. I believe that she did try to save her own reputation by destroying somebody else's, and she was not expecting the backlash, and she certainly was not expecting that people nowadays are not just going to listen to one point of view. People nowadays, in short, I can't believe I'm saying this, we have to give credit to Trump actually, because if he didn't start this narrative of fake news to cover his ass and make a lot of people begin to question, a lot of the media, we would have really believed. And also, if Justin Baldoni did not have the ability to fight back, we would have really believed, or even if we didn't believe it, we wouldn't have any way to prove that Blake Lively wasn't telling the whole truth of what happened to her. Now, I'm giving you this very long intro because I want to get to this idiot, Andy Signore. Andy Signore is one of the more prolific Megan bullies on YouTube. For those of you who don't know Andy Signore was one of the people who was impacted by the Me Too movement when it happened. I think 2015, 2016, I can't remember when it happened. But then, it took down Harvey Weinstein and Andy Signore, some random useless YouTuber whose biggest accomplishment is something that we've all enjoyed at some point. He was the one, I think he was one of the originators of Screen Junkies and, Honest Trailers, which I loved for years. I had no idea he was behind it. Anyway, he was accused by one of his co-workers, his colleagues, a young lady, of one, cheating on his wife with her and just being a general perv around the office. And he was kicked out of his, Screen Junkies business, and he was humiliated. So Andy's only way of getting back on the internet and he took some time off, came back, and the first thing Andy, because Andy is very social media savvy, he did was to create a kind of online gossip nasty. He calls himself a journalist. He's not. He's just a hater. Unfortunately, Megan was the person that he used as his comeback card. What hasn't this man said about Megan? The criticisms, the attacks on Megan, and not Harry, Megan specifically. In fact, how I came to know of his stupid ass was when, I think 2 or 3 years ago, when South Park released their video mocking Harry and Meghan. He specifically tried to wind up his Deranger followers to go to Montecito with him, to meet up at Montecito. His plan was to get a massive loudspeaker and scream, "We want privacy, we want privacy." Of course, when a lot of people found out online what he was about to do, even people who are not even fans of Harry and Meghan, that is very much harassment. That is the textbook definition of harassment. They came for his stupid ass. And then all of a sudden, I think they threatened legal action. They threatened the police. And because, again, these people like to make a lot of noise online, when they have to be held accountable, all of a sudden it was a joke. All of a sudden he has free speech. Oh, it was a joke. I didn't mean it. And of course, he continues to bash Meghan. He continues to attack her. But don't forget that the ultimate end goal of all this stuff is because Andy doesn't have anything else to do with his time. He doesn't have any other way to make money. This long intro to tell you, and I'm linking up the Blake Lively story with Andy Signore because this is very important. As I said, I'm not a Blake Lively fan, and I wish her every bad luck. But you see, sometimes people that you hate you don't like, can be of use. Let's listen to Andy Signore.
We had another hearing with Blake's lawyers, and I have this sneaking suspicion they really hate my guts. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. Sadly, there's not a lot to report, but there is some stuff to talk about regarding my case. I had another hearing today. I will be having another hearing next week. It's never ending, it seems. But I did want to share some information about this because, yes, it's frustrating. Blake, I'm sure as Blake's lawyers, Meryl's watching these, hello. I really feel like she's tasked with just squishing me and as much as she possibly can. It really is starting to feel that way because I can't imagine she doesn't already have the things she's trying to get. The very limited things that exist, she has. And so why is she still trying to hammer me? Because I genuinely think Ryan and Blake are bullies that want to just make me suffer. Given some of the things I'm seeing in this case, it's hard to not see this as legitimate harassment. And the irony is just thick, given that they're out there defending themselves, playing that they were the victims of harassment. But the reality is they're the ones, in my opinion, who keep harassing creators and everybody else. And it's not very fun, I'm not going to lie, but I refuse to let them ruin my day or ruin our channel or do any of that. I'm going to fight tooth and nail. And today, what was just interesting about it was Blake's team is trying to basically cause doubt with the judge. It feels to me as if like, well, how can we trust them and everything they've shown us in the privilege log, which we provided. We provided a privilege log. But Meryl, now Blake's lawyer, just doesn't think, this is enough. It's not enough. And we need it past February, even though Lyman said you don't. What's so frustrating about these cases, and because I do want to be transparent with you guys, I think it's important. It is incredibly burdensome. And Blake's lawyers wants to try to paint it like it's no big deal. Like this is just easy. These are I don't have Blake Lively money. This isn't easy for me. Every piece of it.
Okay, I'm going to put his grating voice off. But you see that? You see that right there, Andy? It hurts, yeah? When somebody is coming for you and they won't leave you alone. But the only thing is, and what I love about what Blake is doing to this bastard is, they are coming for him because they know that Andy doesn't have the money. You see, it's different with Justin Baldoni. Justin Baldoni has a billionaire who has, from all intents and purposes, shown that he is going to protect his investment by fire, by force, because he knows that Justin didn't do anything wrong. But you see, Andy has gotten a tiny taste of what it's like to have the screws turned on your balls. And now you're frustrated, you're scared, right? You're scared. You deranged too close to the sun. And now somebody who has your time and is petty and has the funds to dedicate their time to destroying you is coming at you. And the beauty of this is, look, I don't know how long this is going to go on for, but he said it right there. He doesn't have the money Blake Lively has. So one would, and just for context, the reason why Blake Lively is going after this particular moron is because Andy Signore is a grifter. If you guys remember, Andy Signore was going to release a documentary about Harry and Meghan's divorce. Yes, he has. If you go on the channel, you will find a documentary this moron created about Harry and Meghan's divorce. He has also now prepared, he is working around to prepare a documentary about Blake Lively and the It Ends With Us set. And of course, I don't know if they believe he will actually do a good job. I don't think so. But this idiot clearly is, the internet has gassed him up. He has a few 100,000 followers. He's making good cash. He's grifting from his members. So he thinks he's Netflix now. He thinks he has Netflix money. He thinks he has Netflix's legal team. Well, they're about to humble you. And what cases like this do, which I think they are trying to do with him, is they want to keep it in the courts. They want him to spend money. Spend money. Spend money. Spend money. And you will see, they will find multiple ways to keep him in court over and over and over again. And those tiny checks that YouTube gives you, Andy, those little tiny checks that you get, I mean, they're not bad. He has almost 1 million followers. He has memberships. So I'm not going to, it wouldn't surprise me, he makes just about 10, 20K a month or more even, right? And God knows other things he probably has businesses in. By the time they keep you in court, and they wipe out half of your money and your savings, and if they come after you and put you in debt, and God help you, because you cannot afford the type of quality of legal representation they have, you might actually or feel like you need to defend yourself, or your lawyer may not do a good enough job, and you actually get into criminal or civil trouble, which you also have to pay for. Sorry. I'm daydreaming. I'm daydreaming of the ways Andy Signore is going to regret going after Blake Lively. So yeah, I just wanted to bring it out here to say that as a nice kind of mini Christmas present for us guys, Andy Signore is going through hell with Blake Lively. And I'm going to keep on watching this case. I'm going to keep on looking at the filings, because, whenever people are facing legal peril, they always lie and try and make themselves the victim. So we're going to keep on keeping an eye on things, and I can't wait for the final kill shot. I'm curious to see how far this goes. I'll keep you guys in the loop. Sorry for this long video. I just wanted to stew in Andy's misery. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share. Bye.